Shakira says the hips don't lie, and in American rhythm, that's the truth. Find out what your hips should be saying about you on the dance floor. Hi, my name is Anne Marie from Dance Sport Experts. Unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably heard about the new hip lift technique. To find out more about hip lift, we're going to Mr. Sam Sodano and Mr. Bill Sparks for more information.
Hi, I'm Bill Sparks, and I'm here to share with you an exciting development in American rhythm called the hip lift technique. The hip lift technique was developed by Sam Sodano, and it's transforming dancers all across the country. Let me ask you a question. Would you like a method of movement that makes sense for all 5 rhythm dances? Well, the hip lift technique can answer that question and give you the results you're looking for. The reason why I'm so passionate about this technique is because it's teachable and it gets results.
That's great, Bill. Thanks. But American rhythm isn't new, so why are we introducing a brand new technique?
The International Latin has a technique structure that was developed by Walter Laird that describes the actions, and Sam Sodano was wanting the same for American rhythm for the ability for it to progress.
Now let's go to Mr. Sam Sodano. Sam, we know your background is as a Latin dancer. What brought you around to American rhythm technique?
Rhythm is one of my favorite things because I was a very rhythmic dancer myself. I was known for that. Anyone who's remember seeing me dance in the Latin, because I was a Latin dancer, will always say that Sam Sodano was one of the best rhythmic dancers. But my favorite is the rhythm, of course. I'm trying to bring it back to what American rhythm was like because of the influence of the International Latin. We have almost, if I can use this word, bastardized the American rhythm where it doesn't even look like itself anymore.
Now, in case you didn't know, hip lift technique was founded by Mr. Sam Sodano. So how do we get to a hip lift technique?
6 years ago, he began to analyze and then use his teaching, his philosophy, his experience when Decho, Kriev, and Bree Watson came to take lessons with him. And when they started using his method, they became 3 times United States American Rhythm champions.
So now with the retirement of Decho and Bree, the king and queen of rhythm, who are some rhythm dancers that we can look at out on the dance floor that are dancing hip lift technique?
With the retirement of Decho, Kriev, and Bree Watson, we do now have couples that are using the method, but as dancers who are competing currently, there's also interpretation that comes along with that. So the clarity of the method is still visibly seen, but they're putting their own interpretation, their own feel on it as well.
So a few years ago, we were talking about SAM, Structured Actional Movement. Is hip lift the same thing under a new name?
That's really interesting because when the development of the technique first came about, it was being pushed as the SAM method. Now that title was given because it fit the acronym of SAM, and that was Structured Actional Movement. But Sam felt that it clearly defined the purpose of his technique. He was giving structure to American rhythm, he was giving structure to the action, and he was giving structure to the movement. Working on the development of the hip lift technique DVD, then the term of really what the representation of what the change of this technique was representing for the judge or the spectator or even the dancer was the action. American style is known as an actional style, the rhythm. So the term hip lift became I think more pronounced and more used, and that's how the term hip lift technique came about.
So is hip lift technique an attempt to get back to the roots of our dancing? I mean, are we getting back to the native idea of our rhythm dances?
If you look at a presentation of a dance done, let's say in Cuba, you're going to see a very authentic look to it. Now, you're also going to see, I'm going to use the term lightly, but necessarily an untrained body, but a natural body. Natural is good, but in order to excel in what we are striving for American rhythm to do nowadays, which is competitive, we have to put structure and train in a trained body. What we've done is, through the hip lift technique, is to clarify and bring consistency and establish the usage of an action that hopefully allows them to understand what they're doing when they're out on the dance floor.
Okay, so now the question that's on everybody's mind. How complicated is it?
Here's the unique thing. When you look at the American Smooth, it's always followed a systematic approach of swing, rotation, and sway. American Rhythm finally has a method of movement that works for all 5 dances. The hip lift in the production of it works for all 5 dances. This gives what our industry is all about here in the United States, the interrelated system. This is an ability for a student to come in and say, hey, I want to learn to dance. If you tell them that you have 5 dances with different ways to move, they're going to be like, that's going to take me a long time. If you tell them that we have a style that you can dance in, that the systematic approach works for all the dances, they feel that they have a chance to learn and become good at it.
Okay, do you have something that you can show us to help us understand?
A picture that you'll see on the screen right now is the clarification of the actions used. You're going to see the standing foot, you're going to see the receiving foot, you're going to see the compressed knee, and you're going to see the action from that straight leg off the standing foot, which is the hip lift. So then you can see the 3 action areas, the foot, the hip, and the knee in the photo that's on the screen. And this is a example or a visual example of the American style hip lift.
Okay, so tell me your pet peeves when you're judging American Rhythm dancers.
When I see people doing international Latin styling, leg action, checking actions, and putting them into the American style rhythm, that waves a red flag in front of me, and I react, and that really does bother me, annoys me, when it's those 2 styles overlapping.
Okay, next question. Would you advise dancers to cross-train with other styles like Latin or Standard to improve their American Rhythm?
I might tell an American Rhythm couple, yes, to maybe go to a Standard dancer for line, for posture, because I do feel that when you do rhythm or when you do any style, frame is so important. I always teach rhythm as I want a standard frame, and from the rib down, I want you to use your body, but from the ribs up, I want it to be of a standard hold, long neck, good frame. The smooth and the rhythm have been neglected, I would say a little, but the smooth has a very strong thing to pick from. They can fall back to the standard. But in order to be a good smooth dancer, you need the theories, the techniques of the standard dancing. Rhythm, I'm not going to say in order to be a good rhythm dancing, you have to have the technique and the theories of international Latin, because that's not so.
So we all want to know, how hard is it to learn hip lift technique, especially if we're switching from another style, say Latin?
Learning the technique, whether you're learning it for the first time or you're an experienced dancer, really the difference or the difficulty is it's not there, because there is a structure to the technique. There's a sequencing, a chain of movement. So with the hip lift technique, it really offers distinct features, distinguishing differences for this technique, makes it very clear, simple, and easy to learn. It tells the dancer what to do and why.
Okay, so I think you've sold us. Tell us how we can finally learn hip lift technique.
So if you're looking for the opportunity to learn this technique, there are several options. There are upcoming dance camps featuring the hip lift technique. There is information at the hiplifttechnique.com website, and there's also information at Dance Sport Expert. Take the opportunity to search for the information, and you will not be disappointed, because this technique is amazing.
Get help with your hip lift technique and more. We've got great experts in all different styles. Find us at dancesportexperts.com. Okay, so let's be friends. Follow us on all of your favorite social media. We've got Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Stay tuned to find out everything that's happening on dancesportexperts.com.